What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the state of Monster Hunter Wilds. Okay, you guys have heard me say it. The honeymoon phase of this game is over. It's been out for over a year now. As of the time of this recording, it is in May, which means we are about a year and 2 months in to this game's life cycle. Okay, we are fully aware that coming this summer, we will hear something about the DLC, which is supposed to be Iceborne sized from Monster Hunter World, which is a great thing. But we need to talk about a couple of things to hope that this DLC ends up better than how Wilds started. You guys already know that I am a big Wilds advocate. Okay, most of my channel has been Wilds content. I have sat here and I have worked and I have grinded it out with all of you guys to try to learn not only how to do YouTube, but to learn how this game works so I can teach all of you. But none of it matters unless Capcom can save it, okay? Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing though. Give me your thoughts on this video. It's a little bit more of a low-key one, but the idea behind it is to kind of give you guys an insight into what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. What Wilds initially did right, though, was the launch experience. The launch experience was hyped. Everybody was super excited. It was one of the most played games all year in 2025 when it came out. The problem was, especially on PC, we had a lot of issues. There was a time period where even me, I had to stop uploading it for almost the course of 2 months because I couldn't even get into the game. Obviously, bugs like that aren't a thing anymore, but it turned off a lot of people immediately. On top of that, though, you go back to the high of Monster Hunter Wilds. The smooth combat, the focus mode was absolutely amazing. Focus mode to me is a super good way to include every type of hunter. I know that there's going to be a lot of controversy based on that statement, and that's okay. If you guys want to debate with me in the comments, let's do it. Just keep it respectful. But I think focus mode is a wonderful way to include everybody. My fiance, for example, is not a Monster Hunter player. She likes games like Pacopia, Animal Crossing, racing games, nothing crazy difficult. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own genre of game that they play. But because of that, it's really intimidating to look at a game like Monster Hunter and think, do I heal? Do I roll? Do I attack? What's this monster doing? What's coming next? It's really intimidating. And for some of us, like me and a lot of you guys watching this video, that's exactly why we play it, because we like that challenge. Other people don't like that. So not only do you have two different people in two different categories, but on top of that, each of those categories gets split again because some people were on console where it was a seamless launch. Some people are on PC where it may not have been so seamless. Some people really liked the clutch claw and the wire bugs from previous games. And some people really liked focus mode and didn't like the other two. There is a lot of big differences between all of the different games. And because of that, it gets a little bit dicey. Okay, so while we are getting into more of this, we're going to go ahead and transition, though, into some of the really good things that this game did. Like I was saying, one of my favorite parts of Monster Hunter Wilds is the focus mode. The ability to move your camera around in such a way that you are able to actively try to hit the monster every single time is really nice. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with me on that, and that's okay. I stand in the idea that it makes it more inclusive for everybody. Someone that may have trouble following along, they might need the game to run a little slower, makes it a little easier when you can track it, everything like that. Not to mention the weapon redesigns, the offset attacks, the power clashes, the smoothness that comes from each of the different weapons, like what you guys can see I'm using Charge Blade with here, is just absolutely phenomenal. The game feels polished. It feels well done. Okay? On top of all of that, the faster gameplay is just phenomenal. Going back to focus mode, it changed the combat flow. In Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, you were sitting there using the Clutch Claw to bash monsters into a wall. And that was really, really cool. That was awesome, don't get me wrong. But the ability to sit here and just go toe-to-toe with a monster, especially ones that were as fast as some of the monsters that we had at the end of the base game's life cycle, is just crazy. Not only that, you get to include the accessibility versus skill ceiling debate now with focus mode. Maybe you're on one side where you think focus mode isn't worth it. Maybe you're on the other, like me, where you think focus mode is a great addition. I can understand both points of view, but it allows everybody to get talking in the community. Part of that, at least to me, I would say focus mode is a better introduction than the Clutch Claw or the wire bugs. The Clutch Claw was very, very repetitive. All you did was sit there and bash the monster into a wall. For the wire bugs in Monster Hunter Rise, all you did was use them to activate your cool counterattacks. In Wilds, those cool counterattacks, those cool abilities are built into your weapons, meaning you don't have a change of pace. It's always rocking the same. Another part of the game that I really, really enjoy is the open world and the transitions between. I'm a little disappointed that you don't hunt the monsters and you go for all of the tracks like you did in Monster Hunter World, seeing as that one was a little more hyper-realistic, like this one is versus its counterpart Rise Sunbreak, which was a little more cartoony. But I really like how all of the animals interact. If you have a fire weapon out and you're on this luscious grass, you'll burn it. All of these monsters, all of these creatures running around, if there was some sort of invading monster right now, they would sit there and they'd go running. This is me sitting there trying to turn off my HUD for this, but it didn't work out, so I just decided to roll with it. Either way, though, you can see just how beautiful it all is, on top of the fact that it's just nice. It's pretty. It's seamless. And in some of these loading screens as well, it really is just seamless. You can't even tell the difference between one area and the next. One thing that I think Wilds did exceptionally well is the biomes and the different areas that we get to hunt in. They are independent from each other, yet they still are reminiscent of what I would expect in a Monster Hunter game. And they're absolutely beautiful. The last thing I'm going to touch on that I really, really liked for Monster Hunter Wilds was not only the weapon designs, which you can see here on the Greatsword, but also the actual inventory and crafting system. I really liked the rarity system and having to go from one to the next and kind of keep progressing everything. I'm a little disappointed that I have to go back and reform some of the low-level stuff, but that's just a personal preference, not an actual issue. All of the different armor, all of the different weapons, the different skills that are allotted into it are really, really nice. And I'm super, super glad that not only can you do all of that from the inventory, but you have an upgrade from box section and the ability to transcend gear. Transcending gear was a game changer when it came out because it actually made some of the things from early on viable again. Not to mention forging your own charms to fit your specific needs so you don't have to go for RNG is an absolute banger of a choice. And now onto some of the gripes that I have with Wild specifically. You don't really have any quests that are worth doing. You fight the same couple monsters every single time, and I even talk about it in a lot of my builds. You don't need to use multiple different types of elements or weapon styles because you don't have the need for them. You fight the same 5 or 6 monsters, and that's it. You've got a limited amount of challenging monsters. And then on top of all of that, the difficulty feels kind of low, if I'm being honest. Even in Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, we had a ton of arena quests, a ton of challenge quests that really let you test your mettle and figure out what was worth it and what wasn't. And you don't really have that in Wilds. The next part of all of it is there wasn't enough long-term grind. Every single build finished way too quickly. You have the same couple pieces, just like the same couple monsters, and that's it. You did not need to use other things, and if you did, all you did was put yourself at a disadvantage. The meta was solved too quickly. And part of that is because there was a lot of people playing and a lot of content creators like myself that were all working on pumping out these great videos for you guys. But the other issue with it was not everything was made as meta relevant. And now my biggest gripe with the game, the RNG in the game. I'm a big believer in playing the game as much as you want, but I also like the idea of actually getting rewarded for the time invested. I unfortunately do not feel like Wilds did this, and it is definitely my biggest issue. Not only do I sit there and I re-roll for hours and hours and hours on end, but I sit there and I fight for hours and hours and hours on end to get absolutely nothing, and I cannot stand the RNG system behind it. I think this definitely needs to get reworked. So, I mean, let's be real. The state of Wilds is decent. Okay, the game is good. There is just a couple of things that really hit it hard. And unfortunately, those couple of things that hit it so hard also happen to be the state of which we're currently in with the game. For the casual players, you've got way less grind, it's way more approachable, and it respects your time. But for the veteran players, the people that are used to the dynamic, it's less rewarding. It's less enjoyable because of how much RNG is behind everything. And I understand there's got to be some level to it, or else you're going to stop playing. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But I should not have like 180 Gogmazios kills and I have like nothing to show for it. That to me is ludicrous. Okay. Not to mention, because we are already past all of the title updates, it's kind of bleh. The only things keeping the game going right now are fashion hunting, challenge runs, and the people that gave up at the beginning because it didn't have the greatest launch, especially those of us that are on PC. In my opinion, I think Wilds is in a decent enough spot to survive going into the DLC transition phase. But I would really like to see a couple things addressed and improved upon. One of which being harder and more in-game hunts. I really like fighting everything, and the fact that Rompopolo got its own mission, specifically because it was the least hunted monster in the entire game, is ludicrous to me. Why only Rompopolo? Why not a bunch of monsters? Give me Chotacabra that hits harder than Omega. Give me Chotacabra or Quemetris that hit harder than Gogmazios. Let me have the fun with it, okay? Next up, better replayability, okay? A lot of these monster hunts end up feeling very routine after a while. And that's because you, as a player, just like me, end up improving. And that's great, but the ability to make it more entertaining would be beneficial. Something like putting them in different environments. Give them different turf wars with other monsters. Do things that naturally would happen, especially because the way it seems like they are telling Wild Story is all about this monster's not supposed to be here. Okay, so put that monster in a spot it's not supposed to be. Another big one would be build diversity. Okay, Gormagala ran as king forever and is still part of the Gargmazios god rolls for the weapons. That's great. I'm sure it's wonderful. The people that got it, like me, on a couple of my weapons, great. That's awesome. I'm glad. But I don't want to only go for that. Make other skills viable. Make other build paths worth it. I don't want to do a one-size-fits-all situation. If I want to use status ailment weapons like at the beginning of the game, let's do it. That was such a nice change of pace because sleep actually felt good. Paralysis actually felt good. Now, because of the resistances, it's just back to elemental weapons. And that's okay, but I really enjoyed what we had at the very beginning. Honestly, the big part of all of this is that it depends on us as a community and Capcom's support for the game. My guess is come this summer, we will end up getting something about it, but who knows what? I'm hoping that what they drop it means that they are releasing the DLC late Q4 2026, maybe Q1 2027. But Monster Hunter is built on hunting monsters. So let's do that in the best way possible. Because Wilds is at this crossroad, there's a lot of people like yourself watching this video that are going to have to make a decision. Continue playing or move on. That is going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys are letting me know in the comments your thoughts, your opinions on all of this. And like I said at the beginning, if you want to debate, let's do it. Let's talk in the comments. Tell me what you guys are thinking. Tell me where you think I'm wrong. That's okay. All you need to do is be respectful. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the Yap session. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell.